Before you set out and turn a new page for an adventure, always remember to go safe before you travel. Go Philippines, soar high. Tara, biyahe tayo.
This is Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Tonight on the program, 1 down, 7 more to go. The government is appealing for cooperation as authorities locate the remaining 7 Filipinos who recently returned from Omicron-stricken South Africa. The Marcos-Duterte tandem holds a grand caravan in Metro Manila that caused heavy traffic, while one presidential aspirant again says he's open to unity talks with the opposition bet. And move aside, BTS Filipino group SB19 officially takes over the top spot of Billboard's Hot Trending Songs chart. Out of 8 Filipinos who recently flew into the country from South Africa, 1 has been located. Authorities say this overseas Filipino worker is under home quarantine, had a negative RT-PCR result, and does not exhibit COVID-19 symptoms. While the whereabouts of the 7 others remain unknown, the government now warns of possible consequences for travelers who will provide false personal information. More from Trisha Terada.
The IATF is appealing for everyone's cooperation in locating the 7 missing travelers from South Africa. IATF co-chairperson Carlo Nograles warned of sanctions for violators of health protocols.
Ayoko rin silang takutin, no? Whoever you are, please come, no? Immediately and report yourselves, submit yourselves, no, for testing immediately, and report yourselves immediately to authorities, no? We're not scaring you. We want your cooperation. Last resort na yung sinasabi na magsampa pa ng kaso.
The health department said 2 of the missing travelers gave either incorrect or incomplete numbers. 3 provided the numbers of the agencies, while the remaining 2 are unreachable. The agency also said it is coordinating with local officials to reach the missing people. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Quarantine assures the public it is ready to enforce the strictest protocols to prevent the entry of the Omicron variant. The government is on alert as more countries report cases of the new variant. But the IATF says some criteria will still have to be met before putting a country under the red list.
Binabantayan rin namin yung capability also of the country to do biosurveillance, genomic sequencing, kasi baka maaring tumataas ang bilang ng isang country in terms of the COVID cases, but even if they don't report Omicron, it may just be the delay in the biosurveillance being done in that country na hindi naman nila agad-agad na detect yung Omicron.
Ito naman pong measures na to hindi na po bago sa Bureau of Quarantine at sa lahat po ng agency na nag-aalaga sa mga papalik nating mga kababayan, dahil ito rin po yung measures na ginawa natin nung panahon po ng Delta. So, masisigurado po namin na may implement natin yung pinakamahigpit po na protocol based po doon sa mga binababa na guidelines ng IATF.
Nograles also said the IATF is stepping up its 4-door strategy, which include testing and strict protocols against travelers, including overseas Filipino workers. Trisha Terada, CNN Philippines.
The country logs 370 new COVID-19 cases. It is the second day new infections nationwide are only under 400. With cases dropping, more hospitals are declaring they are now COVID-19 free. These include the Pasig City General Hospital. In a message to CNN Philippines, hospital Administrator Arlene Samonte said there are currently no COVID-19 patients in their wards or emergency room. The Makati Medical Center earlier posted a 0 COVID-19 census as of Monday. In a statement, Makati City Mayor Abby Binay said the Hospital of Makati has not admitted a COVID-19 patient since November 24. Other hospitals also admitting fewer patients for COVID-19. The Santa Ana Hospital in Manila has 8 COVID-19 patients, down from its highest daily census of 120 patients. In the meantime, there are no more active COVID-19 cases in jails across the country. This covers both, according to the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, these covers both persons deprived of liberty or PDL and jail personnel. The BGMP says it will slowly allow no-contact visitations for PDLs this Christmas season, beginning in low-risk areas with specific requirements and limitations as to who can visit. South African researchers say the Omicron variant partly escapes protection offered by the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. They conducted the first experiment looking at how the variant might behave in the vaccinated, studying samples from 12 people fully inoculated with Pfizer. In some, the levels of neutralizing antibodies decreased 41-fold, but the team says this is still good news as it expected worse. Results also showed people previously infected and then immunized are likely to be well protected. Boosters are also likely to add more protection. President Duterte issues an executive order enforcing stricter regulation of prices of select medicine. EO 155 imposes a maximum retail price, or MRP, and or maximum wholesale price, or MPW or MWP, on 34 drug molecules and 71 formulas. These cover analgesics, antibiotics, anti-asthma, anti-diabetic, and anti-cancer medicine, among others. The directive also requires the MRP printed on the drug's container on a red strip, preceded by the words retail price not to exceed and under drug price regulation. The palace says the order seeks to reduce healthcare expense and improve access to affordable medicine. Former overseas Filipino workers hope Saudi Arabia will finally release their unpaid wages after earlier committing to settle them. The Labor Department, however, is struggling to negotiate with the Middle Eastern country. Tristan Nadalo also tells us how the government prepares for the influx of returning OFWs this holiday season.
A promise still hanging in the balance for thousands of overseas Filipino workers from Saudi Arabia. The Labor Department previously announced that the Saudi government will be paying some 4.6 billion worth of unpaid salaries to thousands of OFWs. But a labor official now admits that the negotiations on the issue are challenging. Speaking in front of former OFWs from Saudi Arabia, OWA Chief Hans Kakdak says talks are still ongoing to convince the Middle East country to give the unpaid salaries of at least 9,000 Filipino workers. But the timeline remains unclear. The worker says it's an agonizing wait, especially for their families.
Hindi ako pumunta ng Saudi para mamulot ng basura. 5 taon na ako rito sa Pilipinas. Kahit nising ka, wala akong nakuha. Yung mga ayuda sinasabi, nasa na. Masakit sa akin, lalo na sa pamilya nila, makarating sa akin na sila namumulot ng basurang pagkain.
Yun pa rin ang ating inaasam, no? Pero walang kasiguruhan. Kasi sa pakikipag-usap with the Saudi side ay meron pa ring proseso from the Saudi side na kailangang obserbahan doon. Yung challenge is paano talaga natin maipahatid sa Saudi side yung hikahos, yung paghihirap ng mga Filipino workers na naglingkod na eh. Kumbaga sa gobyerno, ang term dyan ay service rendered na yan eh.
In the same dialogue, OWA officials say that they are exerting all efforts to bring home stranded OFWs from Saudi. The government will mount 6 repatriation flights this month to bring over 2,000 workers home. The repatriation flights from Saudi Arabia will begin next week, while the government expects over 100,000 OFWs or returning Filipinos this holiday season. Tristan Nadalo, CNN Philippines.
Up ahead on Newsnight, a motorcade for presidential aspirant Bongbong Marcos and his running mate Sara Duterte causes heavy traffic in the country's most voter-rich city. And one Pinoy group dethrones K-pop sensation BTS on the Billboard's Hot Trending Songs chart. Details next.
Oh, anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
Para steady ang supply ng sementong Tigasing. Northern Cement Max Plus, Supreme at Max Pro.
Totoo you also mix the cheesiest? Exhibit X, my cheese. Exhibit TJ, cheesiest. Ay, totoo nga! Walang duda, kids can tell na ang cheesiest ng #1, Denver Juicy Cheese Dog. Pa TJ Cheese Dog ka naman! For my babies, only vet-approved Nutri-Chunks puppies. The only one with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat with essential nutrients to help them grow strong and healthy. Happiness! Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks puppies.
Sa pagbangon ng mga Pilipino, saludo ako sa mga taong patuloy na humaharap sa hamon ng pagbabago.
Bilang isang ina, handa akong gawin ang lahat para sa kaligtasan ng aking mga anak.
Pandemya man, tuloy pa rin ang serbisyo para malinis ang kapaligiran. Serbisyong publiko para sa kaligtasan ng lahat.
Sa panahon ng krisis, ikaw, ako, magtulungan tayo. Saludo ako sa Pilipino.
For ghosts, there's no place like home.
This main house has something in it.
And home is Discovery Plus. Freak out on all the episodes of Ghost Adventures.
Whatever is up in that room doesn't want us there.
I heard that. Discovery Plus is here, the exclusive home of Ghost Adventures. Subscribe now at 129 pesos per month.
Love is all about time. Di minamadali ang pagpapasarap. Like the love in every Pure Foods ready-to-eat. Slow cooked and ready in 8 minutes. Para may time ka sa mga mahal mo. Because love takes time.
So from my fridge decluttering, I found some good ingredients that I could work with, and I have a pretty good idea of what to do with it. We'll be making the home fridge mix, which is a grapefruit and mint kind of cocktail. For this cocktail, you'll need, and for the tools, first we're going to get our shaker, grab our mint and our simple syrup, and then we muddle. Add your GSM Premium Gin and your grapefruit juice. Lastly, your egg white. And then we're going to close it up and start our dry shake. This basically means we're going to shake our cocktail without the ice. After about 10 seconds, open up your shaker and fill it with ice, then shake again. When your shaker is ice cold, it's time to pop it open and double strain. Garnish this with some dehydrated grapefruit and some mint. There you have it, your very own home fridge mix made with GSM Premium Gin.
Kidimiti sarap ng Pure Foods ready-to-eat spaghetti. Easy to prepare even for kids. Ngayong Pasko, kasama ang sarap ng pamilya.
Welcome back to CNN Philippines. On Thursday, President Rodrigo Duterte will attend the Summit for Democracy hosted by the United States. Mr. Duterte accepted the invitation of U.S. President Joe Biden, who also invited leaders from over 100 countries. The summit aims to help stop democratic backsliding and the erosion of rights and freedoms worldwide. But some foreign policy experts say not all participants qualify if democracy were to be the yardstick, including the Philippines. They're also concerned that Manila may be caught in the crossfire of a brewing new Cold War since the gathering excludes China and Russia. They say Washington may be embarking on a loyalty check among America's post-wartime allies.
The U.S. is weaponizing actually democracy as a means of pressuring countries, including its allies, to align themselves with the U.S. against China and against Russia. So, in fact, the Americans have embarked on a new Cold War against China.
You know, we're in a sort of a new Cold War right now. The Chinese and American economies have started to decouple, you know, from the time of President Trump when he initiated the trade war. And now this is being followed through by President Biden's, you know, desire to divert supply chains away from China.
Experts say the new president or the next president should promote an independent foreign policy that's friendly to both the U.S. and China. Presidential aspirant Bongbong Marcos and running mate Sara Duterte gathered support in Quezon City, the country's most vote-rich city, but the tandem's caravan caused heavy traffic on some roads from morning until early afternoon. Rex Remigio has more.
Hordes of supporters joined the caravan of Bongbong Marcos and Sara Duterte in Quezon City. They're trying to woo the voters of the country's most vote-rich city, which is important if they want to win the elections. Even before sunrise, organizers distributed posters in front of the Human Rights Commission building. Motorcycle riders and car owners then lined up on the eastbound lane of Commonwealth Avenue. Joining them are supporters wearing red and green, the official colors of the tandem. Marcos and Duterte then met their supporters in front of the Commission on Audit building. After Marcos's short speech, they began their caravan, which lasted for more than 4 hours. The long lines of vehicles caused heavy traffic this morning rush hour, especially on Commonwealth Avenue. Gridlocks were also seen in some parts of the elliptical road and the southbound lane of Quezon Avenue. This forced the city government to advise motorists to take alternate routes by noontime. The gathering of supporters also lacked physical distancing despite the threat of COVID-19. City government officials said it saddened them that the organizers refused to cooperate with them. This despite their meeting last Monday when the city government said it will deploy 1,000 law enforcers. That's why the traffic congestion happened, which the Marcos camp eventually apologized for. Marcos's chief of staff, Attorney Vic Rodriguez, says they're sorry for the inconvenience it caused to motorists. He explains organizers did not expect they will be overwhelmed by supporters despite their preparations. The event was just a meet and greet with supporters. No discussion of platforms, especially the specifics of their promise of more jobs, much needed by the city's urban poor. The tandem also did not grant interviews with the media to answer questions on some issues. Marcos is hoping to carry the city again after beating Vice President Leni Robredo in 2016. Sara Duterte, meanwhile, is also seeking to repeat the victory of his father, President Rodrigo Duterte, here in the same polls. Rex Remigio, CNN Philippines.
Various groups gathering at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, some even shaving their heads to oppose the tandem's election bids. An organization composed of martial law victims says the bloody human rights records of former dictator Ferdinand Marcos and President Duterte may continue if their children win in next year's polls. Presidential aspirant Calyodi de Guzman and his running mate Walden Bello were also at the event. Calyodi again saying he is open to talks with Vice President Leni Robredo about the possibility of uniting against Marcos and Duterte-Carpio's tandem.
Open akong makipag-usap para doon sa unified na laban. Pero yun nga, no, sana pauna. Sana ay magkaroon din ng klarong mga tindig doon sa issue ng mga mamayan.
With BP Leni and us, we are on the same side. But we are not yet on the same page. Okay? And in the process of this next few months, from our side, we will try to get to the same page.
But Calyodi clarifies this does not mean he is backing out of the race. He had previously said he would have dropped his bid for Robredo if only they were able to align their platforms during those unity talks. Robredo and her running mate, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, commemorated the Feast of the Immaculate Conception today by leading the blessing of their volunteers' headquarters in the province of Tarlac. Meanwhile, Senator Phil Lacson said China's intrusion in Philippine waters is more than just a national security threat. At today's Senate subcommittee hearing on strengthening the Philippine Coast Guard, Lacson explained it is also an issue of food and economic security. And Manila Mayor Isko Moreno met with officials in the province of La Union today. He also visited Baguio City the day before. Campaign season has not yet officially begun, but some candidates have already been shelling out hundreds of millions of pesos on ads even before the filing of certificates of candidacy. Stanley Gajeta tells us who the top spenders were.
36-year-old security guard Jevy Juanites always sees political ads on TV and social media. He believes the election has already started, even if the campaign period has yet to officially begin.
Dahil po sa mga commercial ads and sa social media, ramdam na ramdam ko na po yung election.
In Nielsen's recent monitoring of potential candidates' ad spending beginning January 2021, a number of potential candidates were listed as top campaign ad spenders even before the filing of certificates of candidacy in October. Former House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano was the top ad spender during the 9-month period, shelling out almost 610 million pesos. He was followed by Senator Win Gatchalian, former Public Works Secretary Mark Villar, former Vice President Jejomar Binay, Manila Mayor Isko Moreno, and Senator Joel Villanueva. The research only covers broadcast and print ads and not social media. Law professor Edward Chico says, since the official campaign period has not yet started, aspirants are not yet bound by election rules. Some of them, Chico says, are taking advantage of it to make their presence felt on various platforms.
Unless, of course, the law is amended, unless the law is revised. So we're stuck with that, so we cannot do anything. Nakakalungkot.
The election law on campaign finances aims to regulate candidate spending during the campaign period. As future public servants, they are expected to be transparent and accountable on any resources they will utilize. Political analyst Dennis Blanco says the absence of a regulatory mechanism that would detect possible excessive spending makes the election money politics.
You would always find the word donation by friends, no? Without really inquiring as to the specific. This contribution may also reflect the conflict of interest of those people who are voluntarily donating. And you have no mechanism of telling whether this contribution are emanating from.
Experts believe there's a need to revisit the rules.
The COMELEC needs to be more transparent and more accountable and more open in declaring the statement of contribution expenditures of this candidate so as to erase any doubt or suspicion.
In 2019, Senator Laila De Lima filed the Political Party System Reform Act, which aims to regulate campaign financing and spending by setting a cap or limit on how much a natural person can contribute. However, it still doesn't cover expenses prior to elections. At least 5 similar proposals are also pending at the House of Representatives. Stanley Gates, CNN Philippines.
Still on Newsnight, is it safe to finally hold in-person Christmas parties as COVID-19 cases in the country drop? And BTS no longer #1 on the Billboard's Hot Trending Songs chart. Who unseated the group? Find out after the break.
Anyari sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
And MX3 Coffee Mix to ignite my day. Hi guys! Lagi akong focused, active, at extraordinary. Because the most important things in life deserve nothing less. MX3 Coffee Mix, my choice.
May pagbabago man sa dekorasyon, sa pangangaroling, at sa simoy ng selebrasyon. Ang maiiwan na damang-dama ay sarap ng Pasko na buong-buo. Sa Paskong Pure Foods. Sarap na hatid ng Pure Foods Noche Buena. Sa Paskong Pure Foods. Sarap na dala ng pamilyang bumubuo sa Pasko. Sa Paskong Pure Foods. Buo ang Pasko sa Paskong Pure Foods.
Hindi biro ang mga pagsubok na hinarap at patuloy na kinakaharap ng ating Pangulo. Pero dahil sa tapang at malasakit sa mga Pilipino ni Pangulong Duterte, unti-unti nating nakamit ang mga pagbabago. Mula noong 2016, marami na ang nagbago sa ating bayan. Mga pagbabagong nakikita, nararamdaman at napapakinabangan ng Pilipino. Ito ang pamana ng pagbabago.
Bawat patak, may sarap, may lakas, sulit. Red Horse Beer.
family, I make sure to give them only the best. Meals that are healthy, safe, and flavorful. Enjoy home-style goodness with Magnolia ready-to-cook chicken templados. Pre-marinated, it is made from fresh chicken. It is so easy to prepare and super delicious. Also high in protein, which helps boost our immune system. Get your Magnolia ready-to-cook chicken templados from Magnolia Chicken Stations in chicken tocino flavor and the chicken teriyaki.
Enjoy the #1 pinakamasarap na Pure Foods Tender Juicy ngayong Pasko. Kasama ang sarap ng pamilya.
Boracay has put the country on the map for domestic and international tourism. It is only fitting that the gateway to this paradise island is modern and state-of-the-art. SMC Infrastructure has taken the lead in overseeing the improvements of the Boracay Airport. Throughout the years, it carried several name changes, from Caticlan Airport to Godofredo P. Ramos Airport. But it lagged behind in upgrades until SMC Infrastructure stepped in. Now the current and long-term developments include the construction of an international airport passenger terminal. SMC Infrastructure also extended the existing runway to better serve bigger aircrafts. From 950 meters, it now stretches up to 2,100 meters long, keeping passengers happy and satisfied as they escape into the relaxing beaches and waters of Boracay.
Welcome back. Unlike last year, the government is now easing restrictions for in-person or face-to-face Christmas parties, but some experts appeal it would be wise to set them aside for the meantime. David Santos reports.
Rose del San Antonio, a call center employee, backs her company's decision to still forgo holding a Christmas party this year.
Kayo personally, what do you feel about it?
Yeah, I do miss having fun with my friends, but we all want to protect ourselves and our families.
This despite government easing restrictions on in-person parties, which was banned last year due to the pandemic.
Kailangan lang pong sumunod doon sa IATF regulations, depende po sa alert level ng inyong lugar.
Over a dozen people recently contracted the Omicron variant of the coronavirus after attending a corporate gathering in Oslo, Norway. Local experts appeal to cancel again this year plans to hold face-to-face parties.
Best pa rin to hold virtual parties, no?
Until such time, most likely, baka talagang after December na siguro or January, let's see, no? Kung talagang mas mababa na yung kaso natin, then we will adjust the restrictions.
But COVID-19 cases continue to go down. More people are getting vaccinated and booster shots are now available. Some favor in-person parties to help struggling businesses like those on food and service sectors. Holding parties, some say, boosts workplace morale and serves as a relief after very difficult months. There are some tips, however, on how to hold safer company get-together. Instead, company-wide, why not hold parties by department? This way you can limit the number of people attending. Hold it outdoors, such as in parks, gardens, or any open-air space. You may also hold a hybrid party, meaning workers at risk may opt to join online, while those on site should be vaccinated and without any respiratory symptom. You may even require COVID-19 testing prior to the event. Singing, shouting, and serving alcohol are also discouraged.
Do not serve buffet dishes, no? So we can have plated dishes na lang po so that there won't be congregation.
Safety protocols like mask wearing, physical distancing, and hand sanitation should be strictly observed in the venue.
Kasi kung hindi ito susunod ang mga establishments na magiging host nitong mga Christmas parties na ito, ay pwede pong i-revoke ang safety seal nila o kaya naman isuspende ang kanilang business permit.
Keep in mind that there are more holiday gatherings, including those with their families and loved ones. So it is important to always stay safe. David Santos, CNN Philippines.
In entertainment, we're just 5 days away from the Miss Universe coronation night, and Beatriz Luigi Gomez is already catching netizens' attention with her up-close feature. It's gotten over 220,000 views. In the video, Beatriz says she is grateful to represent the country as a member of the LGBTQ+ community so she can inspire the youth to, quote, be whoever they want to be. The pageant is set for Monday, 8 a.m. Philippine time. SB19 takes the throne on Billboard's Hot Trending Songs chart, a big leap from 8th place. The Pinoy group's track, Bazinga, is now at number 1, replacing the last chart topper of 6 weeks, Permission to Dance by K-pop sensation BTS. The Billboard list is based on music-related trends across Twitter. Bazinga spent 5 weeks on the global chart. This just in, an announcement from the IATF. France is now on the red list from December 10 to 15. That is Friday, beginning Friday, until next Wednesday. Now, what does this mean when a country is on the red list? That means passengers who have been to that country, France in this case, within 14 days immediately preceding arrival in the country shall be required to undergo facility-based quarantine for 14 days with an RT-PCR test on the 7th day, with day 1 being the date of arrival. Notwithstanding a negative RT-PCR result, completion of the 14-day quarantine is required. That breaking news, France now on the red list, an announcement from the IATF. And it is 17 days before Christmas. That is it for now. Join me again on news.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pia Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
Sa'yo? Ba't nakasimangot ka? Alam ko na. Masakit ang katawan mo, ano? Sa sobrang trabaho? O di kaya masakit ang ulo sa sobrang stress? Break ka muna. Hinga ng malalim at imasahe ang ulo mo gamit ang Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Ako rin ganun eh. Kaya pag mataas ang tensyon sa trabaho, mag-Herbalaya break ka muna.
Herbalaya Liniment Oil. Amoy na kaaya-aya. Sa bawat pahid ay ginhawa.
DXKT Davao. Member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Nothing feels better than coming home after a long day with your pet waiting for you by the door. Not to mention the fact that snuggling next to them is a proven antidote for the day's stress. Most pet owners know the joys that come with having a furry companion in their lives, but many of us are unaware of the physical and mental benefits they bring. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and you're watching MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines. We're here to build a healthier future for you. Pets can do more than keep you company. They can decrease stress, improve heart health, and even help children with their emotional and social skills. To help us with today's discussion, let's welcome our guests. With us is Dr. Sixto Carlos. He's a veterinarian and the chief pet happiness expert at Makati Dog and Cat Hospital. Also joining us is Ms. Elena Bantigue. She's an animal welfare advocate and the head of Rescuing and Partners Committee from Caution Project. The pandemic has brought us so much stress as well as anxiety. The emotional support that pets bring is now more important than ever. They can provide real, critical support, in the face of all this turmoil? I'll start the discussion with Ms. Elena. With all of this going on around us, how exactly can pets do all this and give us all that support?
Number one, loyalty and love that we can't buy in this time of the pandemic. We are so stressed with just by living. We can't even go out. We can't spend time outdoors. We can't enjoy our relationships with friends and family. That's why we have our pets. That's why our companions are here. Our dogs and cats and whichever animal that we prefer are there to give us that support.
But Ms. Elena, how about the long-term benefits of this, of having a pet? Does having a pet actually help reduce things like maybe depression?
When I first rescued a stray animal from our barangay, I was at that lowest point when, as a mother, I have 2 daughters, I run the household by myself, I pretty much do everything. And at that point, when I was pregnant at that time and another stray comes into our lives, I thought I couldn't do anything more. I thought I couldn't give anything more. But taking her in made me realize that, I have so much more love to give. And that's just one aspect.
Now, a healthy lifestyle also plays an important role in reducing the symptoms of depression, anxiety, as well as stress, which is so abundant in this time nowadays. And caring for a pet can help you make those lifestyle changes. Ms. Elena, let's talk about how this can benefit someone. Having a pet, having that routine, being a responsible pet owner, how can these all change the current situation that someone is in?
I actually just got in contact with a friend during this pandemic. We haven't seen each other in a while, and she just messaged me a couple of weeks back, and she said, "Elena, thank you for showing me that there's so much more a dog can give," because she has been suffering from depression the past couple of years, and the only thing that really made her really strive to fight for living, fight for her happiness, is by getting herself a dog.